The Kid Detective. While The Kid Detective's title might sound twee, the film is anything but. It is a movie that chips away at you and reveals a very dark heart and ultimately horrifically dark ending, which I found compelling. And if you stay with it, and you really should, it is incredible. It will take you on a journey of both highs and lows with a character that you do not want to like, but yet somehow end up doing so. The film evolves around Abe, whom seems to be somewhat of a Sherlock Holmes sort of character as a child. He's very good at solving petty crimes. He's around 12 when this happens. And then when he turns 14, the daughter of the mayor gets kidnapped and he never solves the mystery. And then we meet him when he's 32, haunted, harrowed and terrified of this case he never solved. And then one day someone floats into his life and gives him the opportunity to solve another case, one that really matters. And the film has this poetic genius about it, where he can't quite overcome his past, but he knows that he can't let down this human being standing in front of him. He is compelled to do what is right, not because it is right, but because he cannot stand his own failures anymore. He wants to prove his doubters wrong. And in the end of the film, it doesn't really matter if he solves it or not, because he's still harrowed by the events that he's endured. This is a character that is truly fleshed out and played perfectly by Adam Brody. One that feels like a real man, a real person, who's lived for 32 years with this guilt of not being able to solve this mystery, as if his entire life is pointless because of one event that he couldn't complete. It is a brilliant piece of cinema, and the way that they use music, that sort of upbeat, happy music, in conjunction with terribly dull and empty scenes, is great. It makes you feel and empathise with the character. You want him to succeed because you can feel his pain. You feel his disappointment. You feel this poor man's hurt. And surrounding him, he is completely covered in doubt from his parents, from everybody around him except the woman who hands him the case. Even his secretary thinks he can't do it because it's a real case, they say. You can't solve real cases, just like you couldn't solve that one. And we've all faced that kind of rejection, that kind of doubt. And this is a film that speaks to us about it, speaks to us deeply about it on so many more levels than it needed to. It could have just been a throwaway comedy mystery, but instead it delves deeper and it chips away at us, chips away at you, chips away at the viewer, at me, at its characters. It chips away and it spells out very clearly in the beginning how this has to end. And we don't want to know that. We want to ignore that because we really want it to be a different ending. But just like Romeo and Juliet, these two star-crossed lovers cannot escape the fate that is already set for them. It is at times funny and it is at times heartbreaking. The Kid Detective is exactly why I watch films, because it is a surprisingly piece of cinema. It's one that I did not expect to be as great as it was, and yet somehow it still was. It's good to see that films can still surprise me, even at this cynical time. The film really does come together at Abe's insecurities. It is about a man who is insecure about his place in the world. Someone who had pure security and then it was removed away from them. It is about a human trying to redevelop who he was, find his identity, never give up, even though he clearly should have done and probably has in his heart. Everyone's given up on him except for one person, and that person is who becomes the most important in the feature. While The Kid Detective might have many clues throughout the film and one central mystery, I will not leave you in any kind of question. Go watch this film.